Hello everyone. Hi, this is Rashika Singh. Welcome to your English class. Okay, so in today's class, we'll be continuing with the first chapter of English literature. As I had told you in the last class, that we will be doing questions and answers, whatever was left from the first chapter. We had discussed the first chapter. I had explained you the chapter and we had done the vocabulary part. Okay. So in today's class, we'll be doing all the question and answers and whatever extra exercises relevant, specifically relevant to your exam will be discussed in today's class. Okay. I believe that my screen is properly visible to everyone. Okay. So I'll start with the questions. So we had done the oral comprehension questions along with the chapter, right? They were in the middle of the chapter, so we had discussed it along with the chapter as we were doing the chapter. In that flow itself, we have discussed it. तो अब हम देखेंगे कि जो क्वेश्चन आंसर एट बैक ऑफ द बुक दिए हुए हैं वो सब कितने इंपॉर्टेंट है बिकॉज दीज क्वेश्चंस आर रेलेवेंट टू द एग्जाम ओके जनरली वो लोग एग्जाम में इसी से क्वेश्चंस पूछते हैं एंड ये वो क्वेश्चंस है जो आपको पता होना चाहिए इवन दो अगर वो आपसे चैप्टर से कुछ और पूछ लेते हैं तो ये क्वेश्चंस आप सबसे पहले करके जाएंगे बिकॉज अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम आपके पेपर्स में वो लोग ये सारे क्वेश्चंस जानबूझ के पूछते हैं बिकॉज इट्स इजी फॉर ऑल द स्टूडेंट्स टू स्कोर इन this particular chapter, right? In these particular questions. Okay, so the first question is, who does Lencho have complete faith in? Which sentences in the story tell you this, right? So as we have discussed it in the story, Lencho had complete faith in God, okay? Not even complete, he had blind faith in God, to be honest. And which sentences in the story tell us this? The sentences that he wrote a letter to the God, even without feeling odd about it, even without any shame or any kind of fear that whether he'll be judged by the people or whether he had the address or not. Like, regardless of everything, okay, Lencho wrote a letter to God. That is the those are the lines that tell us that Lencho had complete faith in God. Okay, you do not need to exactly quote what is written in the text. You can also write your own sentences, but the gist of that particular sentence should be the same. Okay, now the next question is that why does the postmaster send money to Lencho? Why does he sign the letter God? Okay, so the postmaster sent money to Lencho because he thought that he should help this man. He was touched by seeing Lencho's faith. Okay, that was the reason he sent it. He was very amused by Lencho's faith. That how was it possible कि someone had so much faith in God, and being impressed by that faith, he signed the letter God and he sent the money to Lencho. Okay. Did Lencho try to find out who had sent the money to him? Why not? Okay. Did Lencho try to find out? No. He had such blind faith in God that he did not believe who tried to send him the money. Okay. He always believed that God himself had sent him the money, and that was all because of his blind faith in God. Okay. Then the next question is, who does Lencho think has taken the rest of the money? What is the irony in the situation? Okay, so Lencho thinks that the money has been taken by the people of the post office. Okay, and this is the irony in the situation because those are the same people who had given him the money. Here you also find the definition of irony. Okay, and irony is a situation which is strange or amusing because it is opposite of what is expected. Okay, so the truth was something else, but the man believed in some other thing. Okay, he believed that God himself had sent the money and God could not make a mistake. It was the post office people who had stolen his money. So this is the irony in the situation, that even though they were the ones who helped him, he was not satisfied, not grateful, did not try to find out who were the ones who sent him the money, and now he was doubting all those people who had actually helped him. Okay, so this is the irony of the situation. And the fifth question is, are there people like Lynch the real world. Okay, what kind of a person would you say he is? So, are there people like Lenjo in the real world? Yes. May, in my opinion, it is. You can write yours. Okay. If you think that there are no people like him in the real world, you can say that no, there are not. But yes. Okay. Generally, most of the times, we find that there are people like that, especially people from the older generation, the old people who have lived way beyond us. They believe that yes, there is God who makes. Makes everything happen and man has no role to play. Okay, what kind of a person would you say he is? So what kind of a person Lencho is? Of course he's a theist. Okay, I told you in the last in the last lecture that a theist is a person who believes in God. Okay, but being a theist, you also have a logical part of your mind, right? You always believe that, okay, if this thing has happened, this can be the reason. If that thing has happened, that can be the reason. But he did not believe like that. Okay, he was a theist and he was a complete believer of God. Okay, he did not try to find out, he did not find it odd that something, that all the money that was sent to him was sent by humans and not God himself. Okay, so you may select appropriate words from the box to answer the question. So you can remember these words for your exam as well. Was he greedy? This is a good question, good word actually. Was he greedy? No, he was not really greedy. Okay, he was naive. Yes, we can say he was naive because not knowing the truth and believing something totally different. So he was nice. He was not stupid, to be precise, because it was not exactly his mistake as well कि उसने पता नहीं लगाया. See, उसको ये पता था कि God sent him the money. ठीक है, लेकिन उसको ये नहीं पता था कि वो कैसे हुआ. ठीक है, एंड उसको वो जानना भी नहीं था. तो ही वॉज नाइव, बट यू कैन नॉट से दैट ही वॉज स्टूपिड. Okay, he was ungrateful, definitely. He got 70 pesos, but he was not grateful for that. So that is an example of ungratefulness. Was he selfish? Maybe not. Was he comical? Yes, in a way it is comical, because as in real life, it's very funny for us to know that someone is writing letters to God and unquestioning. Was he unquestioning? Yes. He never questioned the fact कि उसके पास पैसे कहाँ से आए. ठीक है. It never mattered to him कि उसके पास पैसे कहाँ से आए. All that mattered was कि मुझे पैसे मिल गए और भगवान ने ही पैसे दिए. ठीक है. So yes, he had an unquestioning personality because he had an unshaken faith towards God. Our last question about the text is that there are two kinds of conflict in the story, between humans and nature and between human themselves. How are these conflicts illustrated? So ये question आपको किसी higher weightage of marks के लिए आ सकता है, maybe something for like 5 marks, 10 marks like that. तो अगर आपको ऐसा ये question आता है, तो you have to write with your own deep thinking कि आप क्या सोचते हो. तो पहला है कि देर आर टू काइंड्स ऑफ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स इन द स्टोरी बिटवीन ह्यूमंस एंड नेचर. ट्रू. ह्यूमन एंड नेचर का कॉन्फ्लिक्ट क्या है कि देर वॉज अ हेल स्टॉर्म. ठीक है, जब बारिश चाहिए थी बारिश हुई, बट उसके साथ साथ हेल स्टॉर्म आ गया और हेल स्टॉर्म आने की वजह से सब कुछ डिस्ट्रॉय हो गया. जब सब कुछ डिस्ट्रॉय हो गया तो आप उसके आगे कुछ नहीं कर सकते. तो ये फर्स्ट इलस्ट्रेशन है कि समटाइम्स नेचर इज सो पावरफुल, नॉट जस्ट समटाइम्स, रादर मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स नेचर इज सो पावरफुल कि ह्यूमंस कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते उस चीज के आगे. ठीक है, तो ये चीज इस स्टोरी में पहले तो यहाँ पे दिखाई गई है. और दूसरा कि बिटवीन ह्यूमंस देमसेल्व्स, यस ऑफ कोर्स, हम अपने फेथ में, अपने माइंड में इतने ज्यादा खो जाते हैं कि वी डू नॉट बिलीव द फैक्ट कि कुछ ऐसा हो सकता है. ठीक है, कि कोई और दूसरा हमारी हेल्प कर सकता है. या तो हम खुद होते हैं या तो गॉड होता है, और तीसरे किसी भी इंसान को हम मतलब भाव ही नहीं देते. राइट, यू कैन से दैट लाइक वी डोंट केयर अबाउट who the third person is, who is that person who is actually trying to help us, who is trying to care for us. तो there is conflict between human themselves क्योंकि उनको खुद ही नहीं पता. ठीक है, लेंचो को पहले पैसे चाहिए थे, जब पैसे मिल गए तो 70 क्यों मिले. ठीक है, तो विथ टाइम ह्यूमंस का ग्रीड बढ़ते रहता है. ठीक है, ह्यूमंस आर नेवर कंटेंटेड विथ व्हाट दे गेट, विच इज द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ एवरीथिंग. ठीक है। तो यहाँ पे वही सेम चीज है कि इवन दो आप एक बार जो आपको चाहिए वो आपको मिल भी जाए, यू कैन नॉट स्टिल स्टे कंटेंटेड विद दैट, ठीक है। और उसमें आप एग्जाम्पल लिख सकते हो अबाउट लेंचो रिसीविंग मनी एंड बिलीविंग द फैक्ट कि गॉड एक्चुअली सेंट हिम द मनी, ठीक है। तो दैट इज वन थिंग. So with that, we end the first 6 questions in the exercise. Now, we have to think about language over here. Okay, so this is more related to your grammar and vocabulary part. So this is good if you know, so that आप जब answers लिखो exam में आप blank नहीं हो जाओ. I have seen a lot of times people get blank in the exam because उनको नहीं पता होता है कि what are they supposed to write. ठीक है, like they cannot just decide themselves कि मतलब उनको क्या लिखना है नहीं लिखना है, अप्रोप्रिएट वर्ड्स ही नहीं पता है, ठीक है, ऑल ऑफ दैट. तो इस वजह से इट इज इम्पोर्टेंट कि आप जब भी कुछ लिख रहे हो आपको वोकैबुलरी पता हो. एंड एज आई ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू कि अगर आप कुछ बहुत फैंसी बहुत हर्ट के नहीं लिख रहे हो इट्स फाइन, बट जो भी आप लिख रहे हो दैट शुड बी सेंटेंस अप्रोप्रिएट. ये नहीं है कि अगर आपको वहां गुड लिखना है तो आप वहां पे स्टूपिड लिख के आ गए, अगर बैड लिखना है तो वहां पे फनी लिख के आ गए. You should always know the meaning of what you are writing. ठीक है. तो coming to the question, look at the following sentences from the story. ठीक है. Suddenly, a strong wind began to blow, and along with the rain, very large hailstones began to fall. Okay, so what are hailstones? They are small balls of ice that fall like rain. ठीक है. And इस जिसमें hailstones गिरते हैं उस बारिश को हम hailstorm बोलते हैं. ठीक है. And hailstorm is a part of a bad weather. ठीक है, जहाँ पे बहुत तेज आंधी तूफान, thunder, lightning, everything is over there. Okay. Now, there are different names in different parts of the world for storms depending on their nature. Okay. Can you match the name in the box with the description below? Okay. So you have to fill in the blanks and we can use the words that are given here. Okay. 6 sentences and 6 options. Okay. The first thing is a violent tropical storm in which strong winds move in a circle. Okay. इसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? Tornado. Okay. If you see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. 7. So a tornado is a violent tropical storm in which strong winds move in a circle. Then the second thing is an extremely strong wind. Okay, so this is a 4-letter word. So what is it? Gale. Okay, an extremely strong wind. Then the third question is a violent tropical storm with very strong winds. Okay, so अगर कोई storm आता है और वहां पे बहुत तेज हवा चल रही हो, what will that be? Okay, so this should be cyclone. Okay, it will be cyclone. Fourth is a violent storm whose center is a cloud in the shape of a funnel. Okay, a violent storm whose center is a cloud in shape of a funnel. So that is a typhoon. Okay, yes. And one second. Okay, I did a mistake over here. The first one should be cyclone. Okay, the first one should be cyclone. The second one will be gale. Then the third one will be typhoon. Okay, then the fourth one will be tornado. Then the fifth sentence. Okay, this will be a whirlwind because it is a violent storm with very strong winds, especially in Western Atlantic Ocean. So it's like really related to a specific place. So it is a whirlwind. Whirls usually get created in the oceans, in big oceans, when the weather gets harsh. Okay, and the last is a very strong wind that moves very fast in a spinning movement and causes a lot of damage. Okay, so that is a hurricane. Okay, now the next that we have to do is we have to notice how the word hope is used in this sentences from the story. Okay, so there are different ways in which the word hope has been used over here. In the first sentence, it is written that I hope it passes quickly. Okay, so here it is being referred to the hailstorm. While in the second question, there was a single hope, help from God. Okay, so here we have to see that how words can be used in different sentences with different contexts. So the first thing is, in the first example, hope is a verb which means you wish for something to happen. Okay, in the second example, it is a noun meaning a chance for something to happen. Okay, in the first thing, hope is a verb. I hope. Okay, because here it is directly linked to the subject. Okay, what is the subject doing? The subject is hoping over here. So hope is is a verb over here in this sentence. And in the next sentence, there was a single hope. Okay, help from God. There was a single hope. So it is a noun. Okay, what was it? It was a noun. Okay, so we find here that hope is a verb and hope is a noun depending on the meaning of both the sentences. Okay, depending on how it has been used. So we have to match the sentences in column A with the meanings of hope in column B. Okay, so will you get the subjects you want to study in college? I hope so. Okay, I hope so. So it is a feeling that something will probably happen. Okay, so this will be the answer. Here the answer will be the first one itself. And the second one, I hope you don't mind my saying this, but I don't like the way you are arguing. Okay. So I hope you don't mind saying this, right? So I hope here also I am wishing for something to happen. So it's a word. Okay. So uh yes, I hope. When you say I hope you don't mind, this is a very important phrase as well because it helps you in talking to people politely. So showing concern that what you should uh, say should not offend or disturb the other person, a way of being polite. Okay. So here in this sentence, in the second sentence, we are being polite. Okay. And in the third sentence, this discovery will give new hope to HIV/AIDS sufferers. Okay. So wishing for something to happen, although this is very unlikely. Not really, because here we are talking in positive terms. Okay, but wanting something to happen and thinking it is quite possible. Okay, so here we are believing that it is quite possible that if it is discovered, okay, if the, let's say, medicine or the research, whatever has been done, whatever discovery we have made, it gives a new hope to HIV/AIDS sufferers. So here we are wanting something to happen. Here we are seeing a practical possibility of something happening. Okay, then I called early in the hope of speaking to her before she went to school. Okay, I missed this sentence. We were hoping against hope that the judges would not notice our mistakes. Okay, so we were hoping against hope means we were wanting something to happen, but it was quite unlikely. Okay, so this is the fourth sentence where we are you want something to happen but you also know that it is very like unlikely. Okay, आपको लग रहा है कि ये हो सकता है but बहुत कम chances है, most probably नहीं होगा, इस तरीके से. And the sixth sentence is um, I called early in the hope of speaking to her before she went to school. Okay, so I called early in the hope of speaking to her before she went to school. So this is like thinking that this would happen. Okay, so this will be your fifth sentence. And the sixth sentence is just when everybody had given up hope, the fishermen came back 7 days after the cyclone. So that is something, okay, which you stopped believing. Okay, so this is something so good that you cannot believe that it happened. So this will be the sixth sentence, and this was our first sentence. Okay, a feeling that something good will probably happen. Okay, so these are your answers for these 6 questions where we have used the word hope with different sentence meaning. Okay, now here we have relative clauses. Okay, so look at these sentences. All morning, Lencho, who knew his fields intimately, looked at the sky. Second sentence is, the woman who was preparing supper replied, yes, God willing. So the italicized part of the sentences give us more information about Lencho, right? Of course, they do tell us who was Lencho. He knew his fields intimately. So this part tells us that Lencho was a farmer. He knew his job very well. He was very hardworking. He was very well acquainted with the fields that he managed. Okay. So this part tells us more about the character. Then again in the second sentence, who was preparing supper? The woman. So what was she doing? Okay, she was preparing the supper. She replied. Okay, so this is giving extra information. Okay, this italicized part for both the sentences, for both the characters, is giving extra information. So the italicized part of the sentences give us more information about Lencho and the woman. Okay, we call them relative clauses. Relative clauses. So I have discussed in one of the grammar videos about sentences. Okay, and in sentences I discussed what are clauses. Okay, so clauses are basically the part of sentence that is required, okay, which gives information, which has linked to the other part of the sentence. ठीक है, that is the clause. तो ये चीज मैंने पढ़ाया है. तो अब नोटिस दैट दे बिगिन विथ अ रिलेटिव प्रोनाउन हु. अदर कॉमन रिलेटिव प्रोनाउन्स आर होम, हुज एंड विच. ठीक है, तो रिलेटिव प्रोनाउन क्या होता है? रिलेटिव का मतलब आई गेस आप सबको पता होगा. अगर नहीं पता है तो क्या होता है रिलेटिव का मतलब? जब दो चीजें आपस में जुड़ी होती हैं, ठीक है, तो दे आर रिलेटिव टू ईच अदर. जब दो लोग आपस में जुड़े होते हैं तो व्हाट डू वी से कि दैट पर्सन इज अ रिलेटिव ऑफ माइन. तो रिलेटिव मतलब कि अगर किसी चीज का दूसरे चीज से रिश्ता नाता होता है तो उसको हम रिलेटिव बोलते हैं. ठीक है, तो अदर कॉमन रिलेटिव प्रोनाउंस आर होम, हुज एंड विच. ठीक है, अब ये 3 है रिलेटिव प्रोनाउन. और प्रोनाउन क्या होता है ये भी आपको पता होगा. प्रोनाउन होता है जब आप जब आप नाउन के बदले जो वर्ड यूज करते हो उस पर्टिकुलर नाउन को डिस्क्राइब करने के लिए. ठीक है, तो उसको हम प्रोनाउन बोलते हैं. राइट, उस चीज को हम प्रोनाउन, उन वर्ड्स को हम प्रोनाउन बोलते हैं. तो रिलेटिव प्रोनाउन मतलब कि यहाँ पे जो एक पार्ट दूसरे पार्ट को लिंक कर रहा है. तो 4 तरह के रिलेटिव प्रोनाउन होते हैं, हु, हुम, हुज एंड विच. ठीक है, अब उसके बाद द रिलेटिव क्लॉजेस इन ए एंड बी अबव आर नॉन डिफाइनिंग. ठीक है, the relative clauses are non-defining because we already know the identity of the person of they describe. ठीक है, they are not telling us anything to the identity of the person, they are just giving us extra information. ठीक है, Lencho is a particular person we already know, and there is a particular woman we already know. लेकिन we don't need the information in the relative clause to pick these people out from a larger set, because we know the name of these people, because we know the relevance of these people already. there is no need for this extra information. ठीक है, और वही काम यहाँ पे ये relative clause कर रहा है. it is giving us the extra information. that is why we are calling it as non defining. ठीक है, इस वजह से हम इसको नॉन डिफाइनिंग बोल रहे हैं. ठीक है, तो अ नॉन डिफाइनिंग रिलेटिव क्लॉज यूजुअली हैज अ कॉमा इन फ्रंट ऑफ इट. ठीक है, नॉन डिफाइनिंग रिलेटिव क्लॉज में एक कॉमा होता है सामने एंड अ कॉमा आफ्टर इट. ठीक है, या तो डैश भी लिखते हैं राइटर्स. ठीक है, तो इफ द रिलेटिव क्लॉज कम्स एट द एंड वी विश पुट अ फुल स्टॉप, वी जस्ट पुट अ फुल स्टॉप. ठीक है, अगर रिलेटिव क्लॉज जब खत्म हो जाता है तो उसके बाद हमें फुल स्टॉप डालना होता है. तो ये क्यों आपको बताया जा रहा है यहाँ पे? ये जो आप पढ़ रहे हो रिलेटिव क्लॉज, इसका रेलेवेंस चैप्टर से है? नहीं, इसका रेलेवेंस है फ्रॉम योर ग्रामर एंड फ्रॉम योर लैंग्वेज पार्ट. जब आप आंसर लिख रहे हो, कोई भी आंसर लिख रहे हो, नॉट जस्ट कि इस चैप्टर का लिख रहे हो, किसी भी चैप्टर का आंसर लिख रहे हो, तो आपको पता होना चाहिए कि आप क्या लिख रहे हैं, कैसे लिखना है, ठीक है, और उस चीज का कैसे यूज करना है, तो आप अपने लैंग्वेज को कैसे यूज कर रहे हो, उस चीज के लिए आपको ये बताया जा रहा है, ठीक है। So, we have to join the sentences given below using these four relative clauses. ठीक है. अब I often go to Mumbai. ठीक है. I often go to Mumbai. Mumbai is the commercial capital of India. ठीक है. I often go to Mumbai. Mumbai is the commercial capital of India. So instead of starting the next sentence with the noun, what can we do? We use the pronoun. I often go to Mumbai, which is the commercial capital of India. ठीक है. Next is my mother is going to host a TV show on cooking. She cooks very well. ठीक है. My mother is going to host a TV show on cooking. Who cooks very well. ठीक है. तो यहाँ पे हम रिप्लेस कर रहे हैं दो सेंटेंसेस को. दिस इज ऑल्सो सिमिलर टू द क्लास आई टुक ऑन सेंटेंसेस. इफ यू हैवंट सीन दैट वीडियो, you should see that video where I have discussed about clauses, about independent and dependent clauses, and how we make sentences out of it. That's the same thing we are doing over here. ठीक है. इंफॉर्मेशन को प्रिसाइज करने के लिए वी आर यूजिंग रिलेटिव प्रोनाउंस, जिससे कि हम अपना टाइम सेव कर सके and the information does not look repetitive to us. ठीक है. Then the third sentence is the sports persons are going to meet the president. Their performance has been excellent. ठीक है. तो अब कौन से स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन मिलने जा रहे हैं जिनकी परफॉर्मेंस एक्सेलेंट रही है, तो हम इसको कैसे लिखेंगे? These sports person are going to meet the president whose performance has been excellent. ठीक है. And the fourth is Lencho prayed to God. His eyes see into our minds. Okay. Lencho prayed to God whose eyes see into our minds. ठीक है. And fifth one is this man cheated me. I trusted him. Okay. This man, okay. This man whom This man cheated me whom I trusted. Yes. This man cheated me whom I trusted. यहाँ पे आप ऐसे लिखोगे. ठीक है. और you can also write it as the man I trusted cheated me, but that is a different way of writing. यहाँ पे क्योंकि हमें relative pronoun use करने हैं, तो इसलिए we will write it as the man cheated me whom I trusted. Simple. ठीक है.